Hey guys, how you doing? Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I hope everybody's well. I got some stuff going on in the background here. I'm really not comfortable where I'm at, to be honest with you. So sorry about that. Happy you like your new job. Thank you. You put peeps in your coffees this morning? What flavor? Janae got a wrench. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I like marshmallows too. I love peeps. They all taste the same, doesn't it? Don't they? Okay, so let me just say hello to everybody and apologize for being here a few minutes late. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. I got to pay you extra for that. Hey, Stasia, how are you? You have to be at work at 8 this morning. Unfortunately, I will miss our but I hope to see you. I hope that you'll come back and listen to it. I'm glad you're doing good, Stasia. Sorry about that. Let's make it a great day. Like and subscribe. We got Kathleen, Debbie. How you doing, Debbie? And Milk, Honey, and Mayhem, and Edna. How you doing, Auntie? Rochelle, my belle. How you doing? Cool, 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 cool. Edie Cook in the house. Cool. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you. I do. Been a little busy behind the scenes, but here I am. Trapped again. Prisoner of your dreams. Just do it. Opus, how are you? Karen, Lisa, Ron. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Snoopy. How you doing? Cool, 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 cool. Cool. That's great. All right, guys. Well, I definitely want to say hello. There's a bunch of Gypsy Rose stuff. Hey, Glades. Coming on here. A bunch of Gypsy Rose stuff. Really disturbing shit. I put it out on my other channel, Issues with Toddy One Skip. I put 2 videos out there this morning already. Just crazy stuff. Thank you, Janae. I appreciate it. I do. I appreciate it. Yeah, I do better with darker colors, even fluorescent colors. I looked great in the 80s. Hopefully nobody lost their coffee there. You guys think I should do stand-up comedy? All right. Let's go to the anybody? Let's go to the hop. Okay. All right. Guys, Perez, as you guys know, we'll start in 3 minutes. Ooh, sorry about that, Aunt Edna. So Perez Hilton, as you know, he is very good. How you doing, Not My Monkeys? Perez Hilton, yeah. So that's unfortunate, right? But there's been so many people saying shit about him, and what will it take for him to be forgiven? And he won't be by certain people, because some people, it's really not about that as much as it's about just enjoying the anger. And there's one of the last videos that I put on here is very important. As a matter of fact, I thought I started it with this video, but I don't think I did. I don't think I did. Yeah. Anyway, I do want you to let's get into this. And unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know. Those of you know I've been doing the like news, bringing like a bunch of different topics in and doing live streams. I'm going to try to do those Tuesday through Friday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday over at Issues with Toddy One Skip. I'm going to try to, be consistent about bringing stuff over there. I've got stuff for tomorrow already. I can't do it 7 days a week. It's a lot of work, unfortunately. If it does pick up and I get, a lot of views for it, I can make time for it. But right now, I'll be honest with you, it's not all about money for me, but this is my income. So, I have to I have to do videos that are gonna produce an income for me, if I'm honest with you. But they'll always be sincere, you know, and I won't go cross boundaries that I won't cross for me. And you'll see in videos where I actually will fast forward and say, listen, I don't want to hear that, guys. If you want to go there, I don't, you know what I mean? So those that don't know, this is my coffee. My coffee is what is it? I don't know, chocolate raspberry lava cake with the creamer that is white chocolate raspberry. So that's why I have my eyes closed when I'm drinking that. It's so good. Thanks, man. Thanks, James. Thanks, Jameson. All right, guys. So let's get into it. It's 9:10. We usually start about 10 minutes late. That's with church as well. Church was great, right? Church was great. I thought on Sunday. Those that want to check that out, please do. If you've gone back and checked it out. Okay. Well, here we are. So this video, I want to make something clear. This is a Perez Hilton video, and it's cut off this way because I didn't want, he's got his 3 kids in this video. So you could clearly see that he's publicized his children. But this is a video of him actually talking to his children about how you make mistakes in life, but what you can expect from people. And this was what did I say, in May? So the thing about it is I cut the kids. You only see like half of the boy's face, and you barely see, there's a little girl in the middle, his daughter, and these are his biological children, and the one to the left is his daughter as well. And you could see they favor him.
Important conversation with my kids, and I wanted to document it for their future so that they remember this and can always refer back to it. What inspired this chat right now was a conversation that I had with somebody where I apologized for hurt that I caused that person. And I think that that's an important thing for you all to remember.
So I've seen a few people like criticize this little video by saying, you know, he needs to be looking at his children, not at the camera. So like he's a influencer, and a lot of times this is the way they influence. They, you know, it's a teaching moment that he wants with his kids, right? Well, I've heard yes and no about that a few times, Debbie. So I don't know, but it's a teachable moment right here with his kids, and he's doing it in a way where he's sharing it with the world, and this is the way I think it's more important to hear the words, you know.
In life, you're going to make mistakes. It's important to acknowledge them, hold yourself accountable, try to do things to make amends, fix them, make things better, apologize. And sometimes the apology might not be received, or it might be received, but something else might happen, which is what happened here.
So clearly this is after the I think this is after the sepsis, right? Because that was in March, right? In March, somebody like put that into my head.
This person said really harmful things about you all, about my family. And it didn't hurt me, but it made me sad. And I wanted to remind you of a few important things. Your grandmother and I, she's my mother. I love her.
Now, some people could say that this was manipulation. And this is why he put it online, to try to make people feel bad for his kids and his mom. This isn't about that. These words are true, whether they're used in manipulation or not. I don't think so. He seems very vulnerable. So again, this is more about that.
And I disagree with her on a lot of things.
And we can all relate.
We don't have to agree
with family
on many things. She's her own person. I'm my own person. However, I still love her. And I will always love her. And not only do I not agree with her on many things, but we get into some disagreements. You might call them fights.
I was going to just call them fights, right?
And there are some people
Hey, Spikes girl, how you doing?
who believe, oh, I keep getting into a fight with my mother. And
So guys, hey Grace, how you doing? So again, guys, this is not really about him as much as it's about the words. And we do fight with our parents. We do fight with you know, our loved ones. We're not always going to agree. He's in Florida, Debbie.
you know what?
He's
I'm
in
just not going to
Florida.
talk to her anymore. I'm going to cut that person out of my life. For me, that's just not an option.
That's a big deal.
My mother is always going to be in my life with all of her flaws, and I'm always going to love her. And I'm sure she thinks I have a lot of flaws too. And in the
Sorry,
future,
Kathleen.
the three of you, I guarantee, are going to make a lot of mistakes.
So he's talking, and I think it's important. His children are learning the power of them being together. You know what I mean? The power of them being siblings.
And this is very important. I will never tell you what to believe. I will never tell you what to do. I will give my advice, sometimes unsolicited. I will always share my opinion. I will always be honest. I will always love you. I won't always support you.
That's a pretty strong declaration, right? I will always love you. That's what we hope our parents say to us. That's what we need to say to our children. And then we need to back it up with words. I mean, back it up with actions besides.
Financially and in every other way, meaning if you are doing something that I think is bad, mean, if you're, if you're doing something that I just do not agree with, I won't support that. And also, I might be disappointed with you in the future.
That's
you
a
might do
big
hurtful
word.
things to a
That's a big word, isn't it? Disappointment. Nobody likes to feel disappointed. That hurts worse than punishment. Remember when we were kids and we disappointed? How you doing, Penelope? Remember when we were kids and we disappointed our parents, or they said that we did that they were disappointed in us? Remember how much that would hurt us, right? So I think that's a really big deal right there.
sibling,
Absolutely,
to me,
Grace.
to
Honor thy mother and father.
anyone, or you might do whatever. I'm going to be disappointed, I guarantee you. I'm sure that I've done things that disappoint my mother, but
I wonder
I
why.
will always love you. Seriously. And I will never accept you cutting me out of your life. You can't. I just won't allow that. Or each other. I won't allow that either.
You see that? I'm not going to let you fight so much with your sibling that you're going to cut them out.
No matter
Yeah, I've
what.
got some up-to-date stuff on him.
I don't want to
we're
make it
gonna
like
talk
a
about.
cultural thing, but I feel like
This really is. It does go hand in hand with my topic, and my topic here is about mental health, and I mean, basically what this show is about. It's he's not he's about recovery, but his recovery is not drugs. His recovery is like a rebuild, as he would say. He had an NDE, a near death experience, and through that he's changed his ways, and we're going to talk about that. And you'll see, I think you guys are really going to like this, because I have several different videos that get into some really important issues besides this, which is an important issue. You know, the relationship we have with the people around us defines us, because just like you said, it's probably one of the longest relationships you have is with a sibling.
It's my perception that
I don't know, rebuilding, he's found God. Now that's up to people to, I believe that. But if you don't believe in God, then you can't believe that, right? You could believe, at least what I say is, I think the question for any of us is, do we believe what he believes? Okay. I believe what he believes. You know what I'm saying? I believe that he believes that he saw God and that he got a message from God. I believe that.
that's a very Anglo-American concept. Cubans, for the most part, don't cut out.
Well, there was a saying that Jews can kill with guilt. It was Italians with something else, Irish with something else. There was one for like every ethnicity.
Family members. I mean, maybe sometimes, but you're not going to do that. And I won't tell you what to do, but it is my wish, if I were to die today or tomorrow, that the three of you
That's wonderful, Auntie.
always live in the same city. Because
Now that's a lot to ask. The same city? How about the same state? Like the same city? Seriously?
you're very lucky.
That's putting real restrictions on your children, I think.
You are very close in age.
And I want you guys to hear this, because when I heard him say this, I said, you know, that was really thoughtful. That was really, really thoughtful of him as a single dad.
Each of you.
Each of you are very close in age.
And not only are you siblings, but you're friends. You're besties. And you're always going to be there for each other.
So he encourages that relationship with his children, where we've seen some pretty shitty parents as of late, right?
Always.
I
And
believe so too, Debbie. We're going to talk about that. Watch.
I will disappoint you in the future. I guarantee it. I'll probably do things that you don't like that might
This didn't wear too well, huh? This didn't show up in most recent history,
embarrass you.
unfortunately.
Or you might find out things that I've done in the past when I was dumb and doing dumb things. I probably still do dumb things, but I did even more dumb things when I was younger. And you might Google it and it might come up, or somebody might talk to you about it or whatever. And I'm always here to have a conversation with you all about anything. And to be
It's not a brag.
honest with Mike, stop that.
I don't know what's going on.
My shirt's wet now.
That's not funny. So I was trying to have a very serious conversation. I'm not joking. I really think this is important for the future. And also,
Thank
just
you.
'cause I think it's important.
Thank you,
Repetition is
Kathleen.
important. I don't think my will says this, but I'm cheap. You all know this, and I don't want to pay to redo my will.
Listen to this. This is cute.
So when I die, we all will die. When I die, I
Mind you guys, this was like 3 months ago, okay?
want my body
I'm joking,
cremated
Jamie.
and put into 4 urns
What's cremated?
where they burn you and you get your ashes.
That's not the way you say it to your kids.
Yeah, like one of those cups were there. And this.
Oh yeah, but it's covered. So I want to be cremated and put into
I like the way he converses with his children.
4 urns.
Who?
1 urn for each of
For
you,
me and one for him.
if you want it.
I want
That way you always have literally a piece of me forever. And if you don't want it, or if your kids don't want it, then they can bury it
it. No.
with so the 4th one,
Listen,
I want it to
listen.
be buried. I don't know where yet. Maybe somewhere in Los Angeles. Maybe in like a very celebrity.
You guys gotta love this. See, this again, this was 3 months ago. There's I don't see anything wrong with this conversation. Of course, I don't have children. I don't know the age of all the kids. One of the kids, I think, is 14. So probably the other one's about 12 because they're very close, right? I don't know.
Hollywood
the age.
Forever Cemetery, perhaps. I don't know.
But you can see that he has a
Somewhere.
a good
So,
relationship with his kids.
And then if in the future they could like maybe put together I don't even know. I don't know.
He's ready to say, they could glue all the pieces back together. You know what I'm saying? And put me in a fabulous outfit and I'll be great.
Where to be buried yet, but you could each have one and the fourth one to be buried. And what else did I want to say? I don't know.
Have a happy life.
I'm very proud of you all. Work hard. Family is everything. Work very hard.
Have a happy life.
Okay.
That's the whole point, right? Do you have any questions?
I
don't think so.
For the fourth one.
Yeah?
You can give it to your sister if she's still alive.
No, I want to bury a piece of me so that people can go and talk smack about me when I'm dead. Or be like, oh, wow, look at that guy. I remember him. Or who was that? I need to Google him. So I want one to be buried for sure.
When I was little, you told me, like, when I was like 6 or 7, you told me that you wanted to be cut up and yeah, and for me to keep one of your fingers or hands.
I did not say that.
Yes,
I
you
did not say that. I did not say that. I did not say that. Is that on video? If it's not on video, it did not happen.
I think that's a cute conversation. I hope he didn't really say that.
What?
It seems like he said something that the kids took that way.
It was
At
a
least.
cartridge to somebody to somewhere.
I don't remember that.
Listen to this.
You're crazy.
I'm not crazy.
We're not crazy.
And we were listening to like a Taylor Swift song.
They were listening to a Taylor Swift song.
Well, I might have been joking, but I don't remember this.
I do.
You weren't there.
You weren't there right there.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was. I'm only.
I don't remember that. Anyways, any other questions, comments,
Actually, I
concerns?
don't.
You have another question?
You're not dumb.
I'm not. I didn't say I was dumb.
His youngest says, "You're not dumb."
You said you were.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Because in the video he says when he did dumb things when he was dumb, he said that. So his youngest daughter is saying, "You're not dumb."
That was
That's
dumber.
sweet.
Oh, in the past, yeah. When I was dumber, or when I was dumb in the past, I don't think I'm dumb now. Okay, but I don't think I'm dumb now.
Me too.
I might do
agree.
dumb things. That's an important lesson. You are not defined by your mistakes. You might do dumb things. You might do dumb things all the
This is
time,
important.
actually, but that doesn't mean you're dumb. Maybe it does. I don't. If you do it all the time, perhaps, but yeah. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
So.
What?
So all of my classmates. So half my classmates are not smart
Why?
because they keep yelling in class and doing random stuff.
No, they're just children. I would not
You're
say that
good. You're
they're
good,
dumb.
Kathleen. I hope everything is
You're a
good.
child.
Okay, but they stand up on their chairs in mid-class.
Okay, they're 10.
So do you see what's going on here? What's going on here is the old snark. You see how his children are now trying to say things about others, and he's
It's okay.
Most of them are 11 now.
Still, you're a baby.
You're
It's a
not
baby.
a baby. You're a baby. You're a baby. You're a baby.
All right.
Come here, baby.
So I love you, and I love my mom, and thank you all for watching, and thank you all for watching in
Just
the
do bad
future.
things.
I watch still.
Not funny, but it's
She watches
a
all
little
my.
bit.
They watch all my old videos. This is an important video. All right, bye.
Guys, this was from 2025. This video, I'm sorry, it should say 2025. This is all right. So this is in January.
Hey everybody. I'm gonna leave the chat open to everybody today.
This isn't very long at all. This one.
I want to just apologize for not being. I'm just not. I can't. I can.
This is in January.
The
I
family
think,
released a statement
2025.
basically saying
Now,
that Perez
guys,
is doing better, which
Well, that was at that time, right? Yep. Okay, but here I want you to hear this. And then again, that video that's really important to me that I want you to hear. So, but listen to this, please. Because it talks about the things that were weighing on him. Again, this is like a self-help type group, right? So this is what this is talking about. And these are the things somebody said, the move. It was more than that. It's a financial situation, a bunch of stuff. Here comes the rain again.
is a great update because
He's communicating.
he is communicating. Now, as far as how much he's communicating, that is unclear, but they're saying that he is speaking to them in some kind of manner, which is very hopeful. They haven't really touched on what exactly is going on with the children, but we know that his sister was at the hospital visiting him, and the family has really been by his side, along with his attorney, Bryden Friedman, as well.
So is there any sense that we're getting about what triggered this thing?
Not necessarily. I mean, there's a lot of speculation online, and he's been very open about his sepsis struggles. I mean, he was hospitalized for.
Because there's back and forth about the sepsis and stuff. If it's and the other video again, there's again another video I'm really excited about showing. So hang on, but this is again the stuff that weighed on him.
21 days, and in podcast clips from days.
But
leading
that was not just last week.
Correct.
It was
but
earlier this year.
But
Yeah.
he's having like
Sorry
significant
to hear
financial
that.
trouble,
definitely.
and that feels, at least from everything I've seen,
From the
Guys, don't put
hospitalization.
down-
it's more immediate.
Please don't put down where you're at in the chat. Please don't put areas in which you get. I don't care. I guess maybe the state if you feel comfortable, or a certain part of the United States is fine.
Financial problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had spoken to a lot of people who kind of painted a picture of what Perez's life has been like in these past couple months. And as we know, he moved from Vegas to Miami in June. So that's not even that long ago. And he had been struggling with his finances. You know, he wasn't given a lot of perks when he came to Miami the way that he was in Vegas. And because of all the financial issues he was having with the medical bills earlier this year, that really put him in a tough spot where he was
Did
off
he
the
have
mark.
health insurance?
It's unclear, but he still
You
has
ca-
projects in the work.
Yeah,
I
and you
mean,
kind of get the vibe with the health insurance.
It's still, I mean, again, a lot of, I hope he has health insurance. I mean, he has 3 kids. I would hope so. I hope he has life insurance too. He has 3 kids. So,
Insurance, the way he was begging the public for help with the medical
That he
bills
didn't have it.
probably
Right.
didn't.
Yeah,
or
I
it
mean,
was-
that's the way it feels.
But
Right.
a lot of people online, I mean, as you can imagine, there's so much speculation as to what caused this. And a lot of people are turning back to the sepsis that he had earlier this year and have looked online and saw that a sepsis psychosis is something that can occur or be like an after effect of having sepsis because it does affect your brain. It can
and now people are saying, I watched where a doctor says that's impossible. It doesn't last that long. I don't know about that. There are people that go under anesthesia, and when they wake up, they can have a different accent. That's a whole phenomena. And that accent can last forever. And they don't hear it, but they speak it. You could look it up. I'm serious. So that's something. Don't tell me that there is nobody's ever going to convince me of a never, ever, or definitely 100% for sure. You're never going to convince me 100% no way. You're never going to convince me 100% yes way, unless it comes to death and taxes. That's it.
can trigger, these psychotic episodes to occur. So a lot of people are wondering if maybe that is somehow tied to what happened on Tuesday night.
The other thing we're trying to figure out is obviously, the people, we can't really get an answer because the people that know him that we're talking to don't have a direct line to him because he's in this 72-hour psych hold, right? The big question that everyone wants to know is where are the children? Our belief and assumption is that they would either be with the mother or the sister, because the mother was, as we have talked about since yesterday, the mother,
the grandmother of the children, so his mom
is always been living with Perez in Vegas, in Miami, so she's always been around them. So they have a great relationship with his mother. So the belief is that the kids...
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that Children's Services has got to get involved in this now.
Right, that video is very alarming.
Yeah, I mean, they have to step in. And I guess the question, will somebody get guardianship?
Right.
So it would be temporary guardianship, I believe. And, he didn't go after the kids. I think that that's a giant leap for him to say, especially in the state of Florida. As we know, CPS, CFS, they're not very consistent in the way that they handle things.
Right. And that's what we've been asking. The problem is because we haven't been able to get that answer yet from the people because he is locked up, but that is the big question now is the children. Right. Another interesting thing we had learned was we've talked to a couple people that right before this incident happened the other day on the live stream, Perez and his team were in talks for him to be a part of some reality show. And if you think about it, that would be great for him, for someone who is financially struggling, right? It's a paycheck. And I guess from what I've heard, he wasn't actually going to do the reality show because he would have had to take his kids out of school because the production company wanted the kids to be a part of this reality show. It was for a major network. The person didn't know what network, but a production company presented it to him and his team.
Well, that's pretty interesting. That seems like it's something that matters to him is his kids and his kids going to school and, being a part of a community. I mean, they did just move there. It's important that they make friends.
He wanted the kids. He felt it was more important that the kids be in school. And he from what we've heard, passed on this opportunity, which is kind of crazy, again, if financial problems were there.
Yeah. Hey, our chat is wondering if you guys have been able to figure out what...
Well, I don't think the problem... Here's the thing. I'm not sure. There's a difference. I think that people haven't given... I think his behavior was deplorable as well. But I don't think people have really given him any... How long are we supposed to... Here's the whole thing about this show today. And I've said it before. How long do we hold people accountable for their past actions? How long? If the behavior continues, then of course, because it's not past actions, it's present behavior that has a pattern. But if somebody hasn't had that behavior and we see them changing and growing to the positive, why don't we give them credit for it? What's the point of making changes towards the positive, making strides in your life, if the people that you love and the people that you don't want to disappoint won't give you a chance not to? You know what I'm saying? Like that's, there's one of two things that are going to happen there. One thing is those people aren't going to matter to you anymore and you're going to walk away from them because they are not trying to encourage you, brightening your light. They feel better with your light being dimmed. And that's because their light doesn't shine very bright. And that's very important to hear that. Do you want to perform? And that's something that I'm going to show you in another video that's like unbelievable. And I think it's one of the most important videos that I've seen. But let's continue on, please.
What's going to happen when Perez gets out of the hospital? Is he planning on staying in
Miami
or Vegas? Or
I think that's the biggest question.
One would assume, based on how alarming this live stream was, is that he, coming out of the 72-hour psych hold, he would go on to receive even more professional care just based...
Well, we'll know that today or tomorrow if they want to share that with us.
Based on how alarming that is, I don't think 72 hours is enough for what he was going through.
What if he comes out of this thing fine, but is this something that could happen again?
Right.
And
well, that's
especially if the
that's
kids
why
happen to be at
Children's
the house.
Services, will get involved.
I think it's a terrible situation.
Guys, this is the video. I don't know who this man is, but because I was doing, I was looking into videos, this one, it blew me away. And I really want you to hear it because this is like, to me, there's a lot of important things in here. So please, anyway, his name is Glenn Beck. He's online. Please check out his channel. This he just put up because he's talking about Perez Hilton, and
There was a 911 call, a dispatched call regarding Perez Hilton's hospitalization. 10:41 Tuesday night, dispatch call came in for an attempt.
So I just want you to know that I edited the shit out of this because it was an unaliving attempt
At the 48-year-old's Miami address, okay? Multiple units responded, including fire. They responded to an active police scene. Additional units were advised to stand by. This is such a tragic story. Let me take you, and I'll do this with some audio here. Let me take you through where he has been. You know the...
Guys, seriously, this video, please, it's on. I highly recommend you see the video right here. But I have to obviously respond to the video, otherwise it could be a copyright thing. But I highly recommend you check this guy out. I'm gonna check him out. I'm gonna listen to him today. I got to take a long drive somewhere. I'm gonna have him playing. He's covered a lot of things, and I really like the way he handled this.
You know the fact that he was a lefty, but a hardcore, really bad guy, really, really bad guy, okay? And then he says he gets really sick. He has sepsis, I think, sepsis, I believe, and really sick in the hospital, very, very ill. And he's going through all kinds of treatment for it, almost dies. And then he comes out and he says, God spoke to me. And I want to play this back. Listen to flashback to cut 10.
You guys, God just spoke to me. He gave me a real and loud sign. Ah! Hello, my fam. It is Perez Hilton, lover of Christ, saved by God recently from 2 near-death experiences. And I am reborn with a new lease on life, a new knowing that God is real.
Did you guys know there was 2 near-death experiences that he went through? Not 1, but 2. One was a blood clot in his leg, and the other one was sepsis.
That God loves me, and a newfound faith. Faith is hard whenever, right? But I think faith is even harder when it's a foreign country.
You can see, actually, there's videos of him walking with a walker as he's relearning how to walk and such.
Concept to you. I used to never have faith, and now I'm calling upon that.
This is a big deal. Now, I want you guys to remember, this isn't when he started apologizing to people. He started apologizing to people before this, right? It was in 2010 that he wrote his apology letter. It was on the Ellen show and on the Oprah show, I believe. He went on both of those shows. They've been off the air for quite some time, where he apologizes to people. He reached out to behind the scenes and publicly.
And God just said, keep at it. I'm still dealing with this very unpleasant thing that the devil threw my way, but I have let go and let God. I have prayed about it. So many of you all have prayed for me, and I'm calm.
So he goes on. I don't know the timeline, but not long after this, he goes on and he does a podcast where he is apologizing for all of the things, and he's trying to make amends. And he has said, I've called people I deeply hurt, and it was just, I was part of a really bad thing, and I'm trying to stop it. I'm trying to be a better man. I'm trying to live more like Christ wants me to live. But he also says this, listen to this, cut 9. So he is playing this video, and he posted himself with captions and music only, saying via font, the devil is trying to bring me down, but I'm relying on his faith to get it through, having him get me through this. Okay.
So guys, I want you to hear that. Okay, because a few of you have said that to me. A few of you have said, hey, if God showed up, the devil showed up.
So he is now saying the devil is pushing back on me. Now let me take you to Tuesday. I am not going to play the video because it is extraordinarily disturbing. I'm going to blur it all out, and you'll understand why. And you lose a lot of the effect when you don't see it, because I saw it and you'll never unsee it. And that's why I don't want to open this door.
Period,
but
right?
he goes and he is doing this live podcast for 30 minutes, and he has got a knife and he is cutting himself all over. And he's saying, I know God loves me, but I'm such a horrible human being. I'm just so bad. It's not worth living. I wonder what it will be like in the afterlife. And he is. Now, some people said this is AI. It's not. He's now in the hospital, and police have also verified that this was real. So this is not AI. And when you're watching it, you are watching a man. Well, I'll tell you, there's two options here.
So listen to this, guys, please.
And I don't know him, but I have seen this movie recently before, and I think there is a trend on this. We have deep mental illness, but I think we also have possession going on. The devil is just as real as God is. And
what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? Anybody? Because a few of you have said, oh, do you know him? Do you know Glenn? I don't know, Mariah. I mean, if God's real, then the devil's real, right? And a few of you have said in comments that if God shows up, the devil's going to show up to push God away or to push you away from God.
He's going to take you out. You will be his, especially if you've been his. Getting out of that is a nightmare. He's alone in his house. He's lying.
So I want you, wait a minute, because this is something he brings up that I definitely want to talk about. He brings this up. Remember I said, this is a really good, sorry about that. I'm reading good and bad. Yes. So this is something he brings up though. Wait.
Live on TikTok. I won't describe what happened next enough to say it's a horror show, an absolute horror show. And it really does. He's covered in blood. And thousands of people watched it happen. He's alive. It's been verified. It's not AI. It's not a trick. He's in the hospital. All kinds of lacerations. He's also undergoing psychiatric evaluation. His family put out a statement asking for privacy and thanking people for their prayers. His own manager said Wednesday they still have not been able to reach him. Now, as I told you, for 5 months before Tuesday, this is the part that's worth your time. In March, he got the flu. He took his medication without food, and it burned.
Okay, so listen, guys, this is how he got sepsis.
A hole in his stomach.
He got the flu. He took medication without food. Without, there's a reason we're supposed to coat our belly. A lot of times they say at least drink milk, have crackers, something. Sometimes dairy will not be what they want us to take when it comes to certain antibiotics, I think, right?
Ulcer perforated. He went septic and spent 21 days in a hospital in Las Vegas and nearly died twice. He got a blood clot in his leg, another procedure. So close to death twice. He came out of that, and as I just played for, he told the world God had presented himself to him. He was careful about the wording. He said it was not a feeling. He said he grew up Catholic, baptized, First Communion, confirmed, 7 years of Jesuit school. That's a problem. And then that he had never really been a believer until now. And he said God had been calling out to him for years, and he no longer needed to hope. He said, I have it. And he said, I started to take my kids to church every single week. Then he posted a 9-minute video.
I'm really sorry to hear that, Auntie. I really am. I'm glad that you're here joining us. Hopefully we're taking your mind off of some things.
Apologizing. This is a man who built his empire out of cruelty. He made his money for 20 years drawing on photographs of people's faces. And he said, my mistakes are public. The internet is forever. Receipts are forever. I carry deep regret and shame. And then he publicly and privately apologized to dozens of people. And he said there were still people out there that wanted me to suffer and pay. And he said, that's valid. I earned those thoughts, but I forgive myself.
Saw that video.
In June, he said God told him to move to Miami, and he took his 3 kids, all under 14.
I think his mother told him to move to Miami. She wanted to move back too, though.
Back to the city where he grew up. On July 22nd, on Instagram, he was grinning, reading Bible verses about the value of work.
That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that, Aunt Edna. I'm glad. That's a great attitude.
Joking that scripture says work, 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 centuries before Rihanna said it. Okay. Monday, he posts something else about stepping away from the spotlight, and he closed it by wishing well to anyone out there who is hurting. Then Tuesday night comes. Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office start getting calls. Is this a case of illness? Let me make that case. Look at the load the man was carrying. Sepsis that nearly killed him. 3 weeks.
Okay. So he's breaking it down. It's really important you hear what he says here, because watch.
Weeks in bed, emergency surgery, a clot, emergency surgery. A single father of 3 small children with no second parent in the house. Tore up his life in Las Vegas after 3.5 years, moves across the country. 5 weeks ago on camera, he tells his audience he's in a spiral, he's anxious, he's overwhelmed, he feels the devil is coming after him. The body does things to the mind. It does. Critical illness, sepsis, long ICU stays. They leave people in real cognitive and psychiatric damage, and it shows up sometimes weeks or months later. Add sleeplessness, a move, no support system. The man had just spent 5 months publicly excavating his 20 years of shame in front of his own audience. Okay, bad. I'd say the same thing about a lot of what we're watching.
Hey, so don't let anybody tell you what to do, Auntie. You got this. I'm sorry to hear that you're in pain, though.
All the time. The young man charged with shooting an insurance executive on the Manhattan sidewalk.
Okay, so this guy goes through a bunch of cases. We just missed something because I was talking in the chat, but I do want you to hear this. Hang on, I'm sorry.
Own audience.
Hang on, man. Sorry.
Regret and shame. And then he publicly and privately apologized to dozens of people. And he said there were still people out there that wanted me to suffer and pay. And he said, that's valid. I earned those thoughts, but I forgive myself. In June, he said God told him to move to Miami. And he took his 3 kids, all under 14, back to the city where he grew up. On July 22nd, on Instagram, he was grinning, reading Bible verses about the value of work, joking that scripture says work, centuries before Rihanna said it. Okay. Monday, he posts something else about stepping away from the spotlight, and he closed it by wishing well to anyone out there who is hurting.
Okay, so now listen, because this is it.
Then Tuesday night comes. Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office start getting calls. Is this the case of illness? Let me make that case. Look at the load the man was carrying. Sepsis that nearly killed him. 3 weeks in bed, emergency surgery, a clot, emergency surgery. A single father of 3 small children with no second parent in the house. Tore up his life in Las Vegas after 3.5 years, moves across the country. 5 weeks ago on camera, he tells his audience he's in a spiral, he's anxious, he's overwhelmed, he feels the devil is coming after him. The body does things to the mind. It does. Critical illness, sepsis, long ICU stays. They leave people in real cognitive and psychiatric damage, and it shows up sometimes weeks or months later. Add sleeplessness.
Well, according to the other doctor, no, it doesn't. But we know it does.
Move, no support system. The man had just spent 5 months publicly excavating his 20 years of shame in front of his own audience. Okay, bad. I'd say the same thing about a lot of what we're watching all the time. The young man charged with shooting an insurance executive on the Manhattan sidewalk.
So he goes through a lot of crimes. He goes through the Charlie Kirk assassination and the guy that tried to shoot the president. So he's talking about right now what we see on social media.
So we could leave it at that. We could leave that this is medical, okay? And it very well might be. Prosecutors in those cases argue ideology, not illness. Manifestos, planning, rehearsal. That isn't confusion, that's conviction, okay? And I think all of this can be true. And that's the uncomfortable part. Ideology doesn't create the sickness. It gives the sickness a target and a script. And
interesting, yes, no?
It hands a disordered mind a reason and a costume. Okay. Now, here's the part that people are going to get wrong one way or another. Okay? And I'm not going to tell you what's inside of his head. I'm not going to tell you what's going on because I don't know. You don't know. His doctors barely know.
Okay.
Anybody who goes on television or in podcasts this week and diagnoses either chemical or a demon in a stranger that you've never met is selling you something. I'm saying just pray for him, whatever it is. But I wanted to point something out.
Listen to this.
Because of him, but separate from him. 15 minutes. Thousands of people. Some of them begged him to stop. Some of them just hit record.
Right.
Some of them reposted it specifically so it would outlive the takedown. And it did. TikTok says its automated systems flagged the stream within minutes and then routed it to human moderators. And then, in their words, a moderator error caused a delay in the removal. A moderator error, which means somebody had it up on a screen and they decided not to stop it. A man bleeding an audience, and a machine engineered to gather the crowd and hold it there.
What? That's fucking gold.
You can call that technology if you want, but it's the oldest architecture in the history of man. And we've been here before. I really wrestled with it. The reason why I didn't talk about this yesterday is because I really wrestled with this. I went back to Augustine. 1600 years ago, Augustine writes down what happened to his best friend.
Listen to
his
this,
name
please.
was Alypius. He was young, gifted, studying law in Rome. One afternoon, all of his friends grab him and drag him to the Colosseum for the games. And he fought them the whole way. He said, you can haul my body into that place, but you cannot make me watch it. I will be there, but I will be absent. And he sat down in the amphitheater and he shut his eyes. Then something really gruesome happened. Man goes down in the sand, and the entire crowd roars at once. And Alypius opens his eyes. Augustine says his friend took a wound in the soul deeper than the wound the fighter took in his body.
It's interesting. What are we doing online?
And he drank it in. He was not the man who had walked through that gate. He was now one of the crowd. And he came back to the crowd, to the Colosseum. And the next time he brought other people with him. Notice what got him. Not the men who dragged him, not the gladiator. It was the roar of the crowd that got him. What got him was the belief that he could sit in that room and not be in that room.
That's huge. Listen.
It was the roar of the crowd that got him. What got him was the belief that he could sit in that room and not be in that room. Tuesday night, there were thousands of people in that room. Read what they wrote afterwards. I didn't go looking for it. I wish I wouldn't have seen it. It's my job to see things and then decide, what do I show you? But I'll tell you, 1600 years, the only thing that has changed is that the amphitheater fits in your hand.
Yep. The fucking amphitheater is right in our hands, right? The Colosseum, the unaliving of others, right? But it's in our hands. Like, unfortunately, I've said something about this. I don't want to see what people wrote about him while it was going on. And if there were people that were egging him on to behave like that, they need to be penalized, because that you don't get that right. You don't get the right to do that to somebody. He doesn't have the right to do that.
That the Colosseum is in your hand and never closes. So make the case for evil. I think you can make a case that evil is on a rampage. I think I have friends who are being affected by the dark side. And they all are friends that have just found Christianity or found God. And I have warned one of my friends when he said, I just started reading the Bible. I said, please be careful. Please be careful. Read it. Pray. Listen to him. Read the words. But be careful what comes around you, because you have a very strong voice. And Satan does not want your voice right now, preaching God. Be very careful, because you will come under attack in ways you cannot understand. I know, I have been there. And when you least expect it, expect it. I've been in a hospital once, and they had me on so much medication. And I was at a spiritual high when I went in. I had to have some surgery done. I was at a spiritual high, and they...
Listen to this, guys, please.
I have very high tolerance. I'll drink you under the table. I have such a high tolerance. I've woken up on the operating table twice. They just can't keep me down. And they couldn't keep me out of pain. And so they gave me all kinds of stuff, this cocktail that should have killed me. But I was in the hospital from a spiritual high in 24 hours. I would have thrown myself out of the window, because now this could be spiritual. I believe it was. Could be just medication. But I swear to you.
So he's saying that he believes the thing with Perez was spiritual.
I heard, you think you know how I can destroy you? I will destroy your family and take it apart piece by piece.
That's what he heard.
And in some ways that has happened to my family. But I would have thrown myself out of that window. I'm telling you, I believe God is real, but I believe Satan is just as real. And we are now in the battle of the big boys, and we can choose a side. I don't know if Perez, something had taken hold of him or not. Maybe it was just sickness that had taken hold of him. I have no idea. Neither do you.
That's true. We can't say what happened with Perez. You know what I mean?
That's why I decided not to talk about him. I want to talk about, we've been here before.
Spiritual warfare.
We're a civilization that is rebuilding the Colosseum, and we put it into every pocket of our children's clothes.
What do you think of that? What do you think of that?
We keep it open for 24 hours, and we call the roar engagement. If you don't believe in evil, just call it an incentive structure, because the behavior is identical either way. That's rather the point.
Is that something? What do you think?
And believers, hear me, because we get this backward more often than not. Sometimes I think the temptation is to look at a suffering man and see a demon, and look at a sick man and see a sinner. The devil doesn't need to possess anybody to win Tuesday night. He just needs 15 minutes in a crowd that just can't look away. So let me give you 3 things, and I'm done here. Don't watch it. Don't share it. Don't click on the repost that's captioned. You can't believe this. You can't shut down the amphitheater, but you can decline to be part of the roar. And that's the only vote that any of us get.
You can't shut down the amphitheater, but you don't have to be part of the fucking noise of it. The roar, the thing that keeps it going forward. We don't have to be the fuel that keeps adding to the fire. If that's what's going on, man, you need to check your life and ask why you're so miserable. Why are you so miserable? Because no matter who you tear down, there's just getting more and more people. It's not going to make you feel any better. You're not fixing your problem. You think you're fixing other people's problems, but you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on at all. So just people need to stay in their own lane.
Second, if somebody tells you God showed up in their hospital room, that's not a symptom. Take them at their word. But
That's
keep watching them anyway. Conversion is not immunity. A real encounter with God does not exempt anyone from a body that has been through hell. And some of the most serious believers I've ever known have also needed doctors in bad ways. Those 2 sentences are not in conflict. God is a healer. God is a scientist.
I've said
we
that.
have all of the capabilities.
I didn't say that. I God's a healer. But 2 things can be going on. He had sepsis. He almost died. He also had a spiritual awakening.
We can heal through our hands to some degree by using his power, him channeling through us. But we also need doctors. We've spent centuries now pretending one of them cancels out the other. It doesn't. And the third thing is pray for him. Pray harder for the 3 kids who are under 14.
That's
We're
right.
now going to grow up in a world where the worst night of their father's life is a file that somebody saved.
That's right. Listen to him.
It was the roar of the crowd that got him. What got him was the belief that he could sit in that room and not be in that room.
Okay,
now, in
guys,
this video, you see Perez in a
this is from Tapper Clinic. I don't play the whole video. This guy basically diagnoses Perez, but I think he diagnoses him wrong because, well, you'll see. And yeah, this is maybe 10 minutes at the very most, I think.
frantic, dazed, and
When the worst thing that can happen happened, one of the first things that came out of my mouth was, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, right? Exactly. I agree with you. I agree with you, Kung Fu. Everybody was Kung Fu Panda. So I had to do, he goes into details about the stream, about Perez's stream, and I can't let that show. He goes into,
in
he
the
talks
tens, maybe
about,
even the hundreds of times. It's very, very bad. Now,
he talks about him, jabbing himself. So almost, he guesses hundreds of times. But listen, please, because again, he gets it wrong on things, and this is a psychiatrist or psychologist.
Most people, when they see someone harm themselves, they immediately assume this guy's depressed or he's trying to take his life. I saw some people speculating about that. I also saw people in a darker way speculating that, hey, because Perez Hilton is a gossip blogger, maybe this was some kind of grotesque publicity stunt. Now, I don't think either of these things really make sense, because based on the clinical presentation in this disturbing video, I actually think it looks more like a drug-induced side effect leading to. Now, I want to be really clear about.
So he's talking about a DRUG induced side effect. He's not sure what DURGs, whether it's something that was prescribed to him for his mental health and he's got a bad reaction. If it's a newer medication, he doesn't know. So he's not accusing him of being a DRUG abuser or anything like that. That's all right. That's all right, Jamie. So I just want to make that clear. But he talks about the self, slashing and stuff like that. And he uses the word MUTIL. I'm talking about, like the David case. So that's why I had to take a lot of that out. And then he brings up, certain medications and stuff too.
About something. There's no public information out there.
How you doing? I haven't seen you in a minute.
Taking any drugs of abuse. In fact, a source that spoke to TMZ earlier on today
How
actually
are
stressed
you?
that he's not known to be someone who drinks or uses drugs. However, it was publicly acknowledged by this source that he was struggling with his mental health during the move. Here's the article. Move to Miami took an emotional toll before live stream event. So sources with direct knowledge told TMZ that the move was for his mom, as she wasn't happy living in Vegas, and that earlier on this year, Perez had a near-death experience in March, which required a 21-day hospital stay. I've heard some people trying to link this to what's happened now, saying this was like a post-sepsis.
Listen, this is the guy that says no, but he also gets something else horribly wrong. And this is why I want to show this, because here's a guy with a medical degree. He's got this shit wrong. Jamie got it right, according to this guy.
Thing that's way too far away for that
Okay, cool. Yeah, reach out to me. I got a long drive today if you want to
to
call
even
me.
be a possibility. It goes on to say that Perez, who's a devoted dad and thoughtful son, was trying to do best for his family, putting others' needs above his own. However, he didn't anticipate how difficult the transition would be. After all, he had built a comfortable life and successful career as a Vegas-based influencer, and his kids were settled in school there. After moving, sources say he missed the life he had in Vegas and struggled to adjust to Miami. We're told having to rebuild his career, establish a new home base, and proved difficult, causing Perez to second.
I don't understand. I mean, he did things online. Didn't he do things online in Vegas as well? So if it's remote, yes? Because in Vegas, where's the celebrities? Again, you'll get the people that go for shows and have residencies and stuff. But I don't see him doing that. You know what I mean?
Guess the move. And so that's what we know. But on top of that, over the last decade, Perez has openly talked about suffering from anxiety and depression as well. And so there is a possibility that he may have been taking some psychiatric medication, or he may have been started on some
We don't know
psychiatric
that.
medications recently. But I want to be really clear about this. This is complete speculation on my behalf, and we don't know the details there. So more of that may come out as the story unfolds. And so without further ado, I want to jump into why the video of Perez Hilton screams drug-induced self.
So he's saying that it screams DREG induced self MUTIL ATION.
And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Joseph Witt-Doering. I'm a board-certified psychiatrist, and I'm an
Hang on one second. This is what I'm saying.
expert in psychiatric drug side effects. I used to do this at the FDA and also within the pharmaceutical industry. So I study how things can go wrong with psychiatric drugs and also recreational drugs. And I want to talk about the two common people that I see. I see people who are depressed and they have true suicidal intent, and usually they're very meticulous about
No,
how they do
listen,
it,
I'll
called
tell you
borderline
why.
personality disorder. People who have extremely
After he spews all this shit, and I'm letting him just spew the shit because he's wrong. He already was wrong about something else that he just said, but this doesn't help when it just took a little bit of work.
and strong emotions. Typically, these people have trauma
He
in the
said he
past.
saw the same video Jamie saw.
Relational trauma. And what happens, because they're so emotionally reactive, is something stressful will happen in their life. They'll be overwhelmed by the pain of that emotional distress, and they actually start to cut themselves as a way to distract themselves from
So they jab at themselves, to release that pain. And we talked about that in a video before.
the emotional pain. That is a really common pattern and something most people think
But
of when
listen.
they hear about people. Now, generally, people with borderline personality disorder, they will cut their forearms, they will cut their And most people, they try and hide the marks. Now,
So what he's saying is most people with borderline personality disorders, there's a certain way that they CUT themselves. And then with this other one, he's saying that there's people that hide, put it in places where people where you can't see it, where under the clothing area where you wouldn't be able to see those scars. But
what we saw from Perez Hilton was not this. This was
he says, no. What we saw from Perez was not this. No way.
Unusually extreme. And I have to tell you this, I've worked in emergency rooms for countless hours and I've seen these cases. What we saw with Perez, I've never seen that in the emergency room from self-harm. That was severe.
Sorry, I had to cut it out because he
And in
talked
addition, this was
about where he was cutting and such like that. So that's why I had to. And he went into a little bit of detail. But listen,
done publicly on a live stream. You normally wouldn't do something like this publicly. That's very disorganized. He was also making strange grunting noises and was in this frantic dazed state. This is not a typical presentation of normal self-harm. This was something else. And from what
so he said self-harm or MET.
I've read in the medical literature, this is characteristic of what we see in self-induced by psychotropic substances. So psychotropic.
So he's saying this is something, this is self mutilation because of is Jesco here? I haven't seen him in a minute. Sorry. So he's saying this is some sort of psychosis from medication, right?
Substances, meaning drugs of abuse and also prescription psychiatric medications. And so I want to jump in and talk about.
So he's saying that this is what this is from. But listen,
what the peer-reviewed literature says on this, and we have a great review that was published in Psychiatric Research. So here it is. And I've essentially paraphrased what this article talked about. It kind of distinguished between the two different kinds of self-harm that you see. It sort of described them, and I put it in the table here.
two different types of self, HARM.
Usually associated with recent drug or substance exposure. It happens in the state of intoxication when someone is having an acute psychotic reaction to the drug. It's often something that occurs as a one-off. You know, many people who do this, they've never done it before. That's why it says.
So he's saying it's a one-off, right? It's never happened before, right? He saw the video.
Reported in 15% of cases. That's important when we're going to contrast it to borderline self-harm soon. And finally, the injuries that are induced during drug-induced self are frequently severe and permanent, with 80% of cases causing major impairment. Now let's go over to borderline-related self, which is the most common type, and where people do this
Hey,
for
TNT, how
reaction
you doing?
seeking or also to cover emotional pain. So it's usually associated with intense emotional distress, usually functions to relieve tension, emptiness, negative mood, or self-punishment. Here's the thing. It is characteristically recurrent. This is a coping pattern. This is not a one-off thing that typically happens. This is something that people do repeatedly whenever they
So he's saying, listen, this isn't going to be a one-off thing. There's going to be remnants of something if that's the case, right?
Experience intense emotions.
Like
I haven't
scarring.
read anything online about this being a pattern for Perez Hilton, and it probably wouldn't even be online, but that's something to think about.
But wouldn't it be in the video that people watched and saw that there were scars? There were, in fact, scars. This guy, I don't know if he didn't see the video, but Jamie said there were scars. Another person said there were scars. Somebody just now, I think in the comments said that. But no, this guy, I don't know who the hell he's talking about.
When it's done for like helping you with your emotions, it's a repeated pattern that someone does. I've seen Perez, it doesn't look like he has scars on his face or on his body previously, so this doesn't look like a recurrent thing.
But it does, and it is, and there were. So it's a recurring thing. That's a problem, especially when you're saying it's not his problem. Listen. Right.
It was the roar of the crowd that got him. What got him was the belief that he could sit in that room and not be in that room.
It was the roar of the crowd that got him. To think that he could sit in that room and not be in that room. If you surround yourself by poison, ultimately you will get the poison. whether you breathe it in or whether somebody breathes on you or puts their hand on you to get up or shake or hold or hug. That's just the truth, So, anyway, guys, I wanted to share that with you because I thought that that was really important as far as self-help and mental health and everything. And, I think that there's misinformation about Perez, but this wasn't so much about Perez as much as it is about us and who we are as part of the society in which we live in. We have to be accountable, for the company that we keep, for the chats that we go into, for the lives that we partake in, for the panels that we go on. I do. Because, you can look back and say, wow, that didn't age well. You know what I'm saying? But when you speak, we have to be accountable for how we treat others and such. So, anyway, guys, I got to go. I have an appointment, but I just wanted to make sure that we talked about this. Is there anything you guys wanted to say the Serenity Prayer, right? When we finished, does anybody want to come up and say it? You want to come up and say it? Mick Smith, do you know the Serenity Prayer? I'm proud of this community too. Jamie, want to come up and say it? Does anybody want to come up and say it? Anybody? Should I just say it? I think it's a great lesson. You can, but what? You're not in a position to say it, James. You want to come up? I know this. Listen, guys, those that want to come up, I'll say it. All right, so I'm just going to say it next time. If anybody wants to say it, let me know before the week is up. Anybody that wants to put initials into the chat for people with special prayers or good vibes for. Okay. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Guys, thank you so much. Next time we'll go 1, 2, 3 and say it. I appreciate you guys. All right. Be good. Check out my 2 videos on issues with Toddy One Skip. Give me a call, Mila. All right, guys. Be good.